Greetings and salutations, viewer. It is I, Eric J. Chucky, joined as always by the boy.
Hello.
This is the Two Nerds podcast, and I don't know what's on the thumbnail yet. It's one of those weeks. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing well. I'm doing okay.
Would you say you've done any crumping?
I've done a mild amount of crumping, I would say.
Hit me with this crump.
For reasons that may be clear if you watch any of the other shows on this channel, I've been playing a lot of Elden Ring recently.
Yeah?
Yeah. Our series reignited a fire, and I'm going through the game on my own also.
It sort of reignited it within the house. My girlfriend is playing again after starting the game, beating the first boss on, I think, the first or second try, not being much of a big gamer in the first place, and secondly, having only ever done exactly that to Dark Souls 1 and Dark Souls 3.
And going, well, this is babies, this isn't hard, and then moving on.
But she picked it back up, and actually she was playing a lot on her own. She did a lot of exploration stuff, but then stopped and started again, inspired by your playthrough. And I also beat Elden Ring again, and I'm seeing how far my frustration will take me through Shadow of the Erd Tree. Sometimes I'm playing and I'm like, no, I was right. The DLC is better than the main game. And sometimes I'm playing and I want to throw the controller through my own face.
You want to know what the difference is?
Showmanship?
Great reference, but no, it's Skadoodle tree fragments.
Yes, it is.
Every part of the game that requires you to have collected enough tickets to ride the ride is fucking annoying.
It is. It makes the run around on your horse and do homework portion of the game so much more transparent.
So much so that even I dislike it, and I like that.
But what about your playthrough? How's that going?
Oh, it's going well. I'm doing a similar playthrough to what we did in the run. I'm just making a couple different choices because I wanted to see how the other option would have gone. And I'm just, having a fun playthrough again. It's months away, but there's a thing that happens in our playthrough in our run that I'm not going to spoil, that I had to prove myself right about. And I did. That's all I'll say.
The streak is restored.
Yes.
I'll put it that way. Anything else you crumped this last week?
Still keeping up on Critical Role. It's still good. It's still not something White would like, but it's really, if you've liked Critical Role previously, you'll probably like this. If you like Dimension 20, but always want to see more of the actual, fun world building and less of all of the players shitting on Brennan's idea comedically, because that's the point of the series, you'll probably like the new season of Critical Role. I'm having a great time with it, but it does eat up 5 hours a week.
Yeah, you mentioned that you're really starting to feel exactly how much time it takes.
There's a joke that was in one of the interviews they did recently. They did a raft of interviews for the new season of Vox Machina, and I watched a few of them. And one of the interviewers, I think it was Screen Junkies, the people who do honest trailers here on YouTube, asked, you have something along the lines of, you have thousands of hours of content in between this animated series, another animated series, your actual, and several different actual play series. Just how unemployed do you think your fans are? And I'm really starting to feel that, Mr. Krabs. It eats up a bunch of my, not just time, but mental space.
Yeah.
For absorbing new narratives. There's a Punisher special. There's a whole Nick Cage Spider-Man movie. And I haven't seen series. And I haven't seen either of those because my brain is just full of either real adult, real life shit that's depressing to talk about on the podcast, or Critical Role.
Last week, his bag of pork rinds only had 57 pork rinds instead of 58, and he hit me.
That's not true. The pork rinds hit you.
After you threw them.
That's unrelated, I think.
I should have got out of the way.
Yep.
Yeah, I feel that as well. I've been doing a lot of self-improvement this week. I've been playing a lot of small stuff, just kind of poking around. I've been watching a lot of first episodes of anime. I'm taking a break before I dive back into Yu Yu Hakusho, probably in July. And just kind of checking out other stuff, because as I've said before, it's made me want to watch other anime. It's a mixed bag so far.
Generally, most things are.
Sure.
I am also still making my way through the Dark Tournament arc at a leisurely pace of Yu Yu Hakusho, just enjoying myself, having a good time, being reintroduced to whole sections of the story I straight up forgot happened.
Yeah, that's nice. I don't think there's been anything exceptional I've done this week, so that's about it from me. That's about it from Crumping. But before we hop into the next segment, like a DeLorean taking us to the future, we need to talk about the link tree in the description.
In that link tree, you'll find several links. You
Those
can
are
click
great.
them. They will contain several things. Things like our Patreon, where you can be cool, give White Raven here $1 a month, and acquire that title, in addition to getting episodes of various things, various amounts of early, throughout our YouTube sphere here.
I wondered why you took point on this when we don't have the little document up, but I believe in you.
You can buy White's books,
Yeah.
including COLT REGAN,
Mm-hmm.
a urban fantasy series about a normal man stuck in an abnormal world doing his best. I would suggest you start with COLT REGAN, Fortunate Son, but that'd be a weird thing to do. It's the third book in the series. Better place to start is Start Again. It's actually later, but it's intended as a jumping on point for new readers. Or Red Company, a cozy isekai lit RPG. Not progression fantasy. The difference between those two is somewhat nuanced sometimes, but I think this is a good example of one that is very much not one, but is the other. That is supposed to be the first book in a series. The subsequent books in the series have not manifested yet, but I believe in my friend White Raven.
Thanks, pal.
You can join our Discord, talk about things. Most active is our wrestling channel, but you can be the change you want to see in the world, or you can join in talking about the graps pretty much every time the graps happen.
Not really the WWE graps. We don't give craps about the WWE graps.
Sometimes someone will come through and tell us something, and we'll be like, neat!
Yeah, funny thing is, I keep up on what's going on in WWE through like news shows and stuff, but it doesn't sound very
I
good.
fully don't. I believe that is everything. Did I miss anything?
I don't think so. I think I'm thirsty for our reactions to select nerdy news stories. All right, let's talk about some nerdy news. Let's get the small stories out of the way before we get to that Nintendo Direct we mentioned last week. Gem and Holograms is getting a live-action revival at Amazon MGM Studios. Not the first time that's happened. The movie that came out some number of years ago was not very interesting.
I wish them all the luck in the world. I want this to be good for both people who like the series and for generally... I don't ever wish for anything to be bad. But I have no connection to Gem or the Holograms, so I don't have any personal stake.
I watched a couple episodes when I was a kid, and then here recently I actually started watching the series on Tubi before I got commissioned to watch Yu Yu Hakusho. It's both better than you would think and worse. It's got that unintentional genius quality that some things have.
More likely in older things, I find.
Yeah, there's just a certain level of earnestness that, I don't know, it has magical transformative powers.
Have you seen that particular quality in something from anything after the 90s?
I mean, The Room.
The Room, thank you. My brain wants to think that, like, in big pop culture narrative fashion, that the irony poisoning of the 90s may have killed that. But
Friday.
no, Friday's just good. It's just regular good.
No. The song.
Oh, I thought you meant the movie.
No.
No, okay, that's fair.
Yeah, it's but you know, people see how good that stuff does, and then they try to manufacture it. Even watching,
you can't do it on purpose.
Even watching A Disaster Artist, because I already know Tommy Wiseau personally, we're clearly dear friends. He gives me some of his spaceman money. Tommy, actually, if you're listening, hit up the Patreon. I'll take $10.
I will fully call Tommy Wiseau cool.
I'll call him cool. Well, if you give me that $1.
That's right. Don't give it away for free.
But anyway, I digress. The portrayal, the ridiculous portrayal of that man in that movie, the parody of him, is not as good as the genuine article.
It's reaching for a kind of, as you put it, just sheer earnest perfection that is only doable on accident.
Yeah. It's a certain alchemy. Speaking of things that are weird, in their recent spate, is that the word I want? Spate of crossovers, DC has World's Finest teaming up with Weird Al.
Great. No notes. Perfect. That should be really funny.
Yeah, I get panels of those, especially when it's ad time. I've been getting a lot of the Jay and Silent Bob and the Justice League stuff, which have been pretty amusing. But that's neat. I'm glad. I'm glad for Al. I've actually been thinking.
I'm glad for Kevin Smith.
Sure.
Silent Bob gets to beat Batman. That's pretty much his fan fiction.
Yeah. I kind of wouldn't mind seeing Weird Al in concert before he calls it quits. I've never done that. I've never really felt like it because I was young and I wanted to go to stand-up, rock out, mosh in the pit shows. But now I'm oldered.
And he's older, and they're becoming more of those.
We could sit
as we careen.
Most of his shows are normal. Well, for Al, they're weird. So that's all the extra news. The big dealy boodle that happened.
Man, you just pull up the weirdest shit sometimes in terms of names. Hey, you should probably mute that.
Yeah, it was already muted, but is the Nintendo Direct. It happened the day after our last podcast. We're only going to do the highlights here.
Just because, like, a bunch of stuff I'm sure they talked about is really interesting. I do not give a shit.
It's really interesting to people who are not us.
No.
First of all, as anticipated, The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time is getting a remake. It looks way more high def than I thought it was going to.
Yeah, it looks it looks upsettingly realistic for a Zelda game. Aaron Hansen coping and seething, I must assume.
I am in no hurry to replay Ocarina of Time, but depending on how much QOL goes into it, maybe. I don't hate Zelda.
I've never really gotten into it, but I certainly don't hate the series. It has a lot of really, as with a lot of things I like, I might not like the gameplay, but the lore is very interesting.
Yeah, even though they backronymed the lore, to use a phrase.
Yeah, okay. Retcons are fine so long as you don't do them all the time.
It wasn't a retcon. It was, yes, this was the plan.
It was just continuity. Sure.
Yeah, it definitely was.
Yes, ending.
There was another look at Splatoon Raiders. I am pretty interested in that. The Dusk Bloods is getting a beta, a closed network test this summer. I wasn't interested in the Dusk Bloods because I wasn't going to buy a Nintendo Switch 2.
But now you have one.
But now I have one.
So there's a FromSoft multiplayer game you might want.
Yeah, because I wasn't interested in Night Rain either, but then the more I saw about it, the more I got drawn into it. We ended up getting copies.
Honestly, the only reason I ended up like Night Rain ended up being not something that really clicked for me long term, is I really want a version I don't have to arrange a play date with other adult people or deal with fucking randos to play. I'd like it if I could just solo it for a while to understand what's going on, and then once I have my feet under me, then I can feel like I can play with my friends without being a drag.
We also, just in general, a lot of adult gamers have those game nights. It sort of has replaced going to the pub or the club, depending on your predilections. We are still not those people. We didn't go to the pub, we didn't go to the club, and we don't have game night with the boys.
We do, we just play D&D.
I mean, that we managed to get together. And actually, we don't play D&D. We play Wizards and Whites, which is available on the Patreon.
There we go, that's the thing I forgot. I knew I was forgetting something.
I don't always do all of them. I forget, I think it's the $10 tier. Anyway, you do it once, you can download the PDFs. You don't get the updates, but
we're
it's
not
playable.
Gonna send the Pinkertons after you, man.
I would never send the Pinkertons after you. The thing I was most excited about was the announcement of Final Fantasy Resonance.
This is, I mean, if I had to think of them, if I had to armchair book the exact announcement that Nintendo could make for you, this is pretty close.
This is literally something I asked for. Because this is the story of Brave Exvius, a mobile game. It was a gacha that I played for a long time. If you go back on our year in reviews, I will talk about how the game I played most that year was Brave Exvius for a couple of years. And I thought the plot was really cool, but I hit the gacha wall.
Yeah, the gachapon wall where they want only whales may pass.
Right. And I was really curious to see the rest of it, but I didn't want to spend that much money on it, and I had already spent money on it. I just wasn't a whale. And I got tired of having to follow the absolute build guides and only use the best unit. That is going to turn me off of a game faster than anything else. This is the plot of that game.
Which sounds interesting and fun.
I thought it was cool when I was playing it. And it's set to the more traditional turn-based combat.
Yeah, it's just a classic Final Fantasy game. A classic Final Fantasy game. It's coming in October, I guess?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, October 22nd.
That's so soon.
That's a birthday present for me.
It looks interesting to me. I'm not even the biggest fan of classic Final Fantasy games. I'm excited for my friend here, and the gimmick appears to be, probably because it's originally a gachapon game, that like your summons are the heroes of other Final Fantasy games, which I think is very fun.
Yeah, it's really cool. I really like what they did with this, and I'm looking forward to it. So, that's exciting. The only other thing I believe... Oh, no, there's the Nintendo Switch Sports Resort.
This is fun. The Switch 2 controllers have really good motion controls, I guess.
Oh, they're really sharp. I'm really impressed by them. I didn't think I was going to like them until I actually picked them up and spent some time with them.
I think that's about it.
Yeah, it's just Wii Sports, but for the Switch. Which feels weird that they changed the name, even though, duh.
Yeah, it's not Wii Sports anymore. They're not on the Wii.
Yeah. The last thing I do want to talk about in this segment is the free demo for the new Star Fox remake.
One, extremely based, demos rule. Do more demos. I like those. I miss those.
We're back. Demos are back.
Good.
What was 2?
2? This looks good, though.
It does.
I'm not going to play it because I don't want to poison my brain like this asshole has, but I'm happy for him.
Look, you can unfix the controls. That is an option.
Oh, I can click be normal?
Yeah, but it does start inverted, which that did my heart some good. I played this. There's a tutorial and then the level that's in the asteroid field. And it was about as fun as I remember it being. A little more challenging on a big-ass controller than it was to the N64 controller when I was a kid and used to that. Now trying to use that damn thing is a nightmare. Just because better controllers have been made, it feels even worse.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you use an N64 controller for this somehow?
No, back in the day.
Oh, okay.
My girlfriend has an N64 that works, and I
okay. So you've
tried
had
to play games with her.
recently.
Yeah, within the last 8 years. Anyway, it was really fun. I didn't do wonderful at it, but it was a great time, and I encourage, if you got a Switch 2, to check it out. What a big week for wrestling news. There's just thousands of stories for us to react to.
You know what? It feels like there's too many. Why don't we do none of them?
That sounds perfect.
Okay. So anyway, we watched Dynamite. It was pretty good. I had a good time, personally. I really, really would prefer if Mark Briscoe and MJF would never wrestle again. It's not even that they have bad chemistry. It's that I'm tired of it.
Well, and because we took a break, it feels like it just happened.
Yeah, well, yeah, kinda.
Yeah.
But even having said that, I think they're doing it well. I think that looks very interesting. I'm excited about the various tournaments. Sad to hear about someone being injured on the women's side, but that happens.
I think a lot of people actually have been injured
in this tournament.
Heading into this tournament.
Yeah, I mean, it's AEW, man. They got it seems like they're probably more careful with injuries than WWE is, and so people go out injured easier and stay out longer, because that way, they don't end up crippled and broken in their old age. And I think that's probably good, but it does mean that it fucks up storylines a lot.
It's hard to say, because WWE's had a bad year for that as well, especially with the Vision. That stable has had one member at so many turns.
Oof.
But I'm not gonna. I have so many other reasons to slam the WWE. I'm not going to speculate.
I'm speaking only of my experience in the past and of having heard wrestlers talk about being encouraged in, shall we say, unfriendly ways to work hurt in the past. Now, that might be past age. The relic of a bygone era who drives really fast in a car and then pretends like he doesn't know how cars work. It might be now that is gone, that's not a thing anymore. And people just get to, ow, my knee doesn't work. Can I go home and wait until it works again? Yeah, sure, bud. We want you to be able to use that in the future. That would be great. It does mean that storylines end up mixed up a little bit more, but that's the reality of the business,
Yeah, this is... I think about when I was a kid and I wanted to become a wrestler or something adjacent to it. And then I look back now and go, how few surgeries I've had and how awesome that is.
Yeah, same. If you're a wrestling fan as a kid, you kind of want to be a pro wrestler. You do, you kind of do. But no, man, I'm lazy and fat. And two, even if I wasn't, dog, it looks like an awful job. I'm very thankful to the people who do this job because it creates entertainment that I love, but it looks like a shitty, thankless job.
Speaking of being thankful, I am so glad I'm out of the social media sphere. I'm not on social media, but I've definitely changed in the last decade the way I interface with it. I wasn't aware that everyone was pretty sure CM Punk was leaving WWE for AEW until like Thursday of last week, when the rumor was dispelled. Not. So what had happened was he hasn't been there since WrestleMania.
He's old and grumpy and a bitch. He probably just went home.
Well, and he had some things to heal up, but it was like just before he said, you guys are going to see me wrestling a lot real soon. And you know how the social media sphere is. People, especially wrestling fans.
He did that shit on purpose.
Sure.
that's I know Phil. I've watched Phil long enough to know when Phil's working a crowd. That's he said that way on purpose.
It's just nice to not
have been pulled into the smoke and the mirrors. I don't know how anybody fucking thought that, man. He like had a very public physical altercation with several high rankings like corporate people in the Federation, and then got fired, and it wasn't that long ago.
I think Tony Khan would take him back just because he is CM Punk. But I don't think Punk wants to go. I don't see what could have changed in his career.
Yeah, I mean, like, I guess maybe he just really hated Hangman that much. That's so unbelievable that I don't know how you people thought it was the case. I don't mean to sound judgy, but I am judging you.
It's different when you're in the vortex, People make some persuasive sounding arguments and you lose track of the facts.
And hey, I'm wrong sometimes.
Yeah, I've been there.
There was a time when I would have bet literally every cent I owned that Vince McMahon would never sell WWE. That he would prefer to die. He would prefer the company die before he sells it. And I was wrong about that. I'm glad no one never took me up on that bet.
But that's wrestling. I don't have much of an opinion on Dynamite. It happened.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a good time. I'm still having a good time. I'm enjoying the tournaments generally. The men's tournament is doing an excellent job of obfuscating what is an obvious foregone conclusion. Which is good, because it is the conclusion that should happen.
The women's tournament is not doing as good of a job.
No, not really, no.
Been a good tournament, but just your surprise entrant is Mercedes Moné.
Oh, she's winning then. Okay.
Yeah. Guys, it's time for mail fraud. And you know what? For no other reason than our love for theft, we decided that we're going to dedicate a lot of time to mail fraud today. It certainly has nothing to do with a relatively slow news week.
Yeah, no, that's not related at all. Anyway, time to steal. Uh,
Um, Here's a good question from Daisuke, who writes into the All Elite Arcade podcast, which doesn't go on right now. So we're your only place to listen to All Elite Arcade podcast questions, unless you wanted to go back and re-listen to old episodes of All Elite Arcade. But then you won't get our answers. You'll get answers from more impressive and famous celebrities. I'm making a bad case for us here. Daisuke asks, is there a specific place in a game where you just like to sit for a while and take in the scenery?
yes, there are a few different games for this. I believe I've mentioned on the podcast before. There are times when I was playing Cyberpunk 2077 that I would literally just load up the game to take in the scenery, to walk around Night City and take in the vibe. And it's very enjoyable.
I'll pause sometimes and just, give myself a moment to be like, yeah. But very rarely do I just sit around. The last time I did anything like that was Skyrim. And I did several playthroughs where I lore walked while in towns, to just sort of soak it in and like really roll around in the stink of Skyrim. But I haven't done that since. There are some beautiful places. Every time I first enter Irithyll, I want to say, in Dark Souls 3, I will stop and just enjoy the set piece.
There's a lot of places in games I've played before where I will stop and enjoy the vista or take in the view. But to go hang out, Cyberpunk 2077 had a lot of that for me.
Right on. Cyberpunk's a game that facilitates that, because it's got so many actions and interactions that are just role-play-y, which is not usual for a single-player game. You see that stuff in MMOs. So I guess, actually, in MMOs, there are places I hang out.
Yeah,
I just never play them anymore.
Orgrimmar,
Mm-hmm.
the Bank Roof back in the day. This is so long in the ancient bygone scrolls times.
Let's forget about our accumulating age by answering a question that you stole from our anonymous benefactor. What matters more, story, acting, or visuals? This is about films and TV shows.
This might be a controversial answer for me, who talks about story and plot and lore all the time. It's acting. It's absolutely acting. Doesn't matter how good the visuals are, doesn't matter how good the story is. If the acting's shitty and wooden, you're never gonna dive in. It's never gonna catch you in anything but an ironic sense.
I think that I'm willing to forgive one of those three things. Two. Being bad. No, I think actually story's the most important for me.
Really?
Yeah, or character, I think is more accurate, but I think that's part of what they mean by story.
I would consider character in as much a part of story and a part of acting. And that's really a two-hander.
I can't tell you how many times I've been watching something I otherwise enjoyed that I'm taking seriously and have said, that's the take you went with? But I still enjoy the episode or the movie or what have you as a whole. And
you know what? There have been times when I have watched a thing that the acting is excellent, but I hated the story, so I had to leave.
Yeah, if I don't care how great the acting is, even if I don't care about the story and it's an otherwise well-made film, or I hate the characters and it's still a great TV show, I will leave. I'm not going to be here.
I will say, like, shitty acting, shitty visuals is really the thing that I care least about. Shitty acting will make me leave a thing before a shitty story will, but you might be right. It might be story, because shitty story is the thing that will make me leave otherwise good acting and visuals.
Yes. And the visuals are the least important part. I like a nice visual. I just started watching season 10 of Supernatural, and they discovered the zoom feature, and I have to laugh at how stupid it all looks, but I'm still watching the show. It's not that big of a deal. Man, some bad scene compositions, bad effects.
Bad effect shots, unless it's egregious. I really don't care.
I don't mind. There's a couple of animes I watched this last week where, I'm sorry, I think the plural of anime is anime. It's like an AE.
Animuses.
Animuses. Animinus.
Enemies.
This could be a really, really fun bit, but I'm gonna put the kibosh on it. Where it's just, and sometimes this is done stylistically, but it's just a static, like, PNG that they're drifting across the background. That's fine.
That is apparently referred to in animation nerd circles as dragging the PNG
Nice.
animation.
Spectacular. I love it. So, yeah, I gotta say, at the end of the day, it's story and or character.
You know what? You talked me around. You talked me around fully. I think you're right.
Do you want to do one of these weird questions?
Sure, why not?
Okay. All right. You get a magical, this is from Reddit, our hypothetical situations.
You're gonna have to click through it.
I gotta click through. I gotta go to Reddit.
Yes, I am sorry.
Oh.
I was taking a long time for your computer to load Reddit.
Yeah, my computer feels the same way I do.
It hates it. Oh, Jesus! I forgot that I have been looking at Reddit in dark mode for so long that I just got flashbanged.
No, I'm not logged. I'm done with Reddit. You get a magical buff from a genie. This is from Long AA. 100% accuracy on your next 100 basketball shots, no matter the distance or how you throw them. However, there are a few strict rules. Only you know about this. You have absolutely zero proof from the genie. You can try to convince people to bet against you, but they'll only have your word to go on initially. You cannot choose to miss. Once you attempt a shot at the hoop, it will go in and it will deduct from your 100 shot count. Passes don't count. If you pass the ball to someone else, it won't magically fly into the hoop. But if your intention is to aim for the basket, it's going in. How are you using your 100 guaranteed shots to get the absolute most out of this situation?
That is the question. The simplest answer, I feel, is there's a wait for basketball season. It's not a time limit. It's just your next 100 basketball shots. Fun fact, I don't shoot basketballs a lot. So just wait for the next basketball season. Go to the various games where they're giving shit away. Win it.
I would probably spend quite a few of those on that. Not too many, and certainly not too many in a row, because then they'll just be like, no, you don't get to be a part of this anymore. I would then just start casually making baskets from, like, my house to mess with pro games.
Just wait for, like, I don't like this particular team.
Yeah.
I don't like the Spurs this year. I'm going to wait and then go outside, point my hand towards the sky with a basketball, and just, oh, good. All right. And shoot.
And I'll shoot it as they're trying to make a basket so that it knocks their ball out. and then, but I'll wait before I do it again.
And then they got to deal with, like, the hole that's punched through the roof of the arena. Because it specifies no matter the distance.
Yeah, so I'll probably do some local bets too, just to, get some seed money or whatever.
Yeah. Maybe get yourself the Guinness World Record while you're doing it.
Yeah. That one is going to be not supernatural in any way. It'll be like, wow, how impressive.
6 basketball courts away. That's very impressive.
How did you do? Well, whatever the maximum is, whatever the current record is, I'll just go like a foot back.
Nah, I would go far enough back that no one's ever touching it again.
I get 100 of these.
Yeah, that's why because you don't want to.
Can you imagine how demoralizing it is for some guy to train his whole life, and then my 70-year-old ass comes in.
Your plan is to reserve.
Shakes my head, dribbles the ball twice, shoots from a foot back from where he made it. Look at him and go, do better.
Your plan is to reserve a few of these specifically to fuck with people who try and take your record later.
Mm-hmm. And then, like, if I'm starting to die, they can wheel my little cancer bed to the basketballatorium, and I'll just, like, make them in series. Spend the rest of my shots just beating my record by 1 foot.
1 foot, 1 foot.
And then dab on them and die there.
That's the plan. You know what my plan was to make make a series of increasingly implausible shots for YouTube fame and money, and then make a big hype video about my last basketball shot ever. I'm retiring after this.
Yeah, it's 2026, dude. They're just gonna be like fake AI. Who cares?
Yeah,
you're not gonna go
yours
viral.
Is way better. Yours is way better.
This This is why I'm not allowed superpowers, because I immediately become a chaos god.
He's good at optimizing them, but not for anything except his own amusement.
I do Loki shit. It's great, but don't ever give me superpowers.
Do it. Whatever. It'll be funny.
Well, yeah, why not? Okay, back to the All Elite Arcade questions. Let's scroll a little down here. Let's get a different one. Let's get one from Matt. Matt asks if trophies could be added to any game from any era or console of the past. He says trophies because he's a PlayStation mark. Xbox achievements, Steam achievements, what have you. Which game would be an instant I have to platinum this for you personally?
None. I don't care about those.
No? You don't want to get full completion and have the completion hat or whatever they give you?
Oh, look, that's neat. I got the achievement for this. Not a lot of people get that achievement. Neat. Oh, and then I never think about them again.
I would definitely check some out, and I might use that as a reason to replay Mario or Mega Man games. Some really solid
specifically
short
hunt for an
platformers.
achievement?
Yeah, especially if they've got some weird ones. Bounce on a turtle shell 100 times in Mario 1, which I've done before, but
just for
I've
the
had
love of
no
the game.
reason. Yeah.
Literally.
So, it'd be fun. But, I own Final Fantasy VI on Steam, and I have it on Game Pass, and I haven't hunted the achievements on it, and it's, one of my favorite games of all time. Yeah, there's Chivos there. I don't care. So, I agree with you in that sense.
Yeah, I wish I had a more fun answer, but I gotta be honest, I really don't care about that.
And, I don't think when Matt, I believe was his name, intentionally wrote into our show that was run by us and not different guys.
You know what? I understand the bit, and I respect it. It's a good bit, but I stole these questions to answer them, not to flake out.
Well, no, that's my point. I don't think when he wrote in, he was asking us to lie. He wanted our opinion. He cares about us as talking heads, and we have to deliver that. Let's get another TV and film question from your anonymous source. How important, this is a good one, is a soundtrack or score to you?
It's like seasoning. You can make good food without much seasoning. You really can. But boy fucking howdy, is it a lot easier to do with it.
I think so long as there's not silence and so long as the soundtrack isn't bad, unless it's so bad that it's amazing, what was that movie, Truth or Dare?
Yeah.
We watched that shit fucking 25 years ago or some shit. 20. And that's still in our heads. But yeah, unless it's bad or silent, I probably am not going to care until it gets to epic.
Yeah, that's basically my point. Yeah, it makes it easier to make a good movie, but unless it's really fucking good, it's just seasoning. It's just spices. It's not the actual dish.
So there are two things I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
Thing one is, when I was a kid, I cared a lot more about the soundtrack. I loved the Star Wars soundtrack, for example. I had it on CD.
Well, that might just be because the Star Wars soundtrack is one of literally the best soundtracks of all time.
Valid. It might also be carrying over that I came from an era of gaming where the soundtrack was more important.
Yeah.
So
ever since basically the death of the chiptune, the soundtrack has been dwindling in importance in video games.
Basically since the start of voice acting. So that passion probably carried over to another thing I loved, which was at the time Star Wars. Thing two is sometimes a soundtrack isn't bad on paper, but they use it so poorly, it makes the film worse. I am talking, of course, about The Departed. Who wouldn't stop dropping Shipping Up to Boston and Gimme Shelter. And then when they finally chose a different fucking song, they used a cover of it that was bad. Inexplicable. Two great songs. Gimme Shelter might be one of my favorite Rolling Stones songs.
I think that just counts as a bad soundtrack.
Maybe it does.
I don't think it's nuanced. I think it's just, if you have a good song and you use it like ass, if you have a good instrument, the best violin ever made, Stradivarius,
the one from Fallout 3.
Yeah, the fucking hermetically sealed, and then you take it and you bash it against the fucking side of a tree, it's not gonna make good music. You gotta use the tool right.
Let that be your takeaway, anonymous contributor. Use the tool right. I suppose not contributor. Is a contribution that is stolen still a contribution?
We're deciding yes.
The Catholic Church agrees with us. Moving on to an all elite arcade podcast question. Guys, you could not have seen that coming. You didn't know the switcheroo I was pulling on you. There is no rhythm to this. The King of Cosmos asks,
shit.
yeah, the guy from the game where you roll the ball.
Yeah, Katamari Damacy.
No. Is the current generation of graphics a letdown or not? Sorry, guys, you don't actually see us. Something really funny happened in the real world, probably. As I was saying, is the current generation of graphics a letdown or not? Do you think it's possible for graphics to improve further?
I mean, yes, technically speaking, it is. Until it is literally indistinguishable from real life, it is technically possible for them to, quote-unquote, improve further. But I don't care. It's fine. We're good. Yeah. It doesn't need to get better.
We crossed the meridian, I want to say, late PS2 era, where this is fine.
Now, that just might be us. We might just be old. We might just be chopped in.
Yeah, we're not graphics guys. That's the other thing. Is I like good graphics, but I'm not the dude, and I'm gonna say this really mean, only because I feel it with my whole heart, beating off to the number of pores you can see on Kratos' face. I don't give a shit. It's neat. Sometimes I play the WWE 2K26 and I'm like, oh, my guy's all sweaty because he had a sweaty time and his chest is red from the chops. Niftarino. But also, I don't care. I don't need that.
I have a counter example.
What's up?
You were very enamored with and enjoyed the level of extreme wild realism that the later Injustice games and most recent Mortal Kombat games have been able to do.
It was the mocap. It's the facial mocap, and that's so fascinating to me because I know how many fucking polygons go into that, and that the movement is so fluid. It's just, I marvel at it being an accomplishment, but if it was just a fucking mouth flap and they were like, map, 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 well, that's not great in this generation, but they don't have to be the pinnacle, you know? They are, or were, and that's great, but I don't need it to be.
Yeah, same. I think good graphics are excellent. That's really cool. Like, being able to walk through, to bring it back to an earlier question, Night City, and it's so dense and so layered, and it does look like a video game, but it's the street lights and the rain on the asphalt and all that stuff is all really cool looking. But like, also it's fine if it doesn't do that too. I don't need it to.
The reason I didn't purchase Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, I believe is the name of it, was not because some of the trees were low-res PNGs of trees. It was because the gameplay was drastically different, and it scared me. I don't need the trees. Sometimes I like seeing those. Sometimes it's kind of stupid when I'm in the middle of a really intense, high visual fidelity game, and there's just a little PNG that's turning to face me. That's a funny little goober. I like him.
Sometimes it's nice to be reminded that a video game is a video game. Sometimes it's nice to be like, man, the unreality of a video game can be really pleasant, actually.
So that's a complex answer for, yeah, maybe, but we don't care. I'm glad we went in depth there for you. King of Cosmos from... I want to say, wasn't it God of Rock?
It was Katamari Damacy 2.
No. Rock of Ages. That was what it was called.
Good bit. It would have been funny if you just left it.
Well, I had to bring it back around for the end. Oh, God, I'm showing them the soup. Let's go to another question here. Another question thieved from your anonymous source. You're pulled from the internet. Do critics, this is a good one, influence your choices? I am slowly becoming Jeff Goldblum. I'm so proud of myself.
I really fucking wish they did.
Yeah, same.
They used to, because there used to be critics whose opinion I trusted. There aren't anymore.
No.
So no, because I don't trust any of you fuckers. So I can't.
And it's not like, for me at least, it's not that like, oh, I think everyone is in somebody else's pocket or anything like that. It's just that my tastes are so different uniquely from everybody else. There's no longer a strong enough overlap that I can go to someone and expect them to give me good advice that I can use.
And even more to the point, I don't care if you're in somebody's pocket. If you are being paid by someone to give opinions that happen to match the opinion I would have, that still does what I want a critic to do.
Sure.
Which is tell me if I'm going to like a thing so that in my limited number of days I get to live on the fucking planet Earth, I get to enjoy things I like more. If I had some source of information that could winnow the vast field of entertainment down for me into, hey, here's 6 things that you really should look into, and you and I have you've seen enough of my opinions that you know that I'm pretty reliable, that if I say you'll like a thing, you will. That would be so nice.
Follow-up question from me. If you could clone yourself and have the second clone just go watch a bunch of shit and report back to you, is that a good use of your clone, do you think?
Well, the clone gets to go to the day job. I get to go watch the stuff.
So you're really committed to fist fighting yourself.
That's right.
Okay.
Well, actually, we long ago decided this, me and my clone. We flip a coin every morning, and whichever one loses the coin flip has to go to the job.
Yeah, I mean, valid. Third question. When is your forced duty on Mars? Because I don't know why you volunteered for that, but that is when you leave this planet. I will miss you, my friend.
It's going to be a hard life. I won't age at all. I'm not even going to finish that because it was really just for him.
No, it was for me. Thank you. God, I love that episode. All right. You know what else I love? I love people who are cool. Just like our trash elite, a guy from Ohio, and Rob. And of course, as well, Destrucity KTL. Oh, that rhymed. That's fun. DG, Kitty Holbrook, Passion Killer 711, and Drake Starstorm. Do you have any words of wisdom to take us out on this week?
I really wish I could trust somebody else's opinion.